What is up, dudes and dudettes, and all the beautiful people of the interwebs? It is Saturday, and you know what time it is. So join us here on the Smash Podcast as we open your mind and go beyond. So sit back and let us Carolina smash your eardrums with some geeky goodness. So today was a special day because we're doing a double dip on shows, and this one is one we've been hyping up for a little bit because a man has to take a stand every now and then. And when he goes against the world on the love of one life-changing event, he says no. So we're going to see if the man, Mr. Mighty Moss.
What's up, people?
Can handle it and can hold up. Is his hatred justified? And can it hold up against the love that this movie is getting?
Man.
So let's take a look at who we have on the panel that he will be going against. Yes. As always, we have the man with the plan, Mr. Operation.
What's good, everybody? I'm here to liberate us from the colonizer that is known as Moss.
already.
Right. These topics.
Talking about
good debate.
Oh man! As always, we got our on-school broadband bully himself, Mr. Neath the Lees.
What's going on, people? Neth here, and Mighty Moss. You know, you're my broadband bully brother, but I cannot help you down this path of being the most hated man of color from PA to Wakanda.
From here to Wakanda. That's right.
Wakanda. And of course, we have the one who's probably the most bloodthirsty out of anyone here. The man has been waiting, and he has been prepping himself. He may be an enlightened soul, but today he is bloodthirsty. It is always the Soul King.
What is good, everybody? I'm here to take this W.
Oh, man, you hear that. And, of course, last but not least, I am your boisterous host with the most, Bloody Knuckles. So, Moss, we've been talking over the past little bit, and you have come out multiple times and said that you did not like the movie. And apparently, from what Neth was saying, that you said on Beastfire, you thought the movie was dog shit.
Oh shit!
Oh man,
I thought it was toilet chunks, to be accurate. You know.
Oh, toilet chunk. Oh man, toilet chunks. Woo, that's strong words.
Opinion. I need to understand why you think this.
Oh man, I think the world needs to know why he thinks it's toilet chunks.
Yeah, I know.
Why he has to flush this movie out of his life.
Absolutely.
So, since you're the man who's going to be taking on the world right now, let's go ahead and let you make one point that you want to make your stand on, and we'll go from there. So the floor is yours, my man.
Absolutely. And I'm known to be long-winded, and I'm going to try to make this quick as possible so these people can try to massacre me. But I'm going to hold my own. I'm going to fight to the very end.
All right, let's see what you got, brother.
I'm going to try to be Jon Snow. All right. So here it is, people. First and foremost, what I want to do is see this illustrious cast. They know about comics, all that good stuff. So this next point that I'm going to address, I don't want to address it to you guys. I want to address it to what I feel is the listening or the viewing public that I think got things a little twisted here. And I want to let y'all know in advance, this is like on a political tip, and I normally don't get political. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's important. So I want to clear this out of the way, rip this scab off, and then we can get into the ins and outs of the movie. All right. So first and foremost, like I said, I don't get political. Now, I get it. Movies with quote-unquote exotic themes grab a lot of attention. Now, follow me. In the 80s, it was ghosts. Everybody was worried about ghosts, and that's why Ghostbusters and the movie Ghosts with Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze was so big, even though the writings may have not been that great, but it was the theme. In the 90s, it was vampires and aliens. And in the 2000s, of course, it was zombies. Even now with some quote-unquote exotic themes, you know what I'm saying? You got shows like Altered Carbon on Netflix that's grabbing a lot of attention. Now, I personally like it, but I'll be honest, it's not the best written show, but the exotic nature of peering so far into the future is a lure. Unfortunately, there's too much of this exoticness acquainted to well-to-do or well-off, frankly, quote-unquote, non-famine Africans, okay? Meaning there's a lot, too often I've heard people say, based upon ignorance, It's good to see what would happen if Africans weren't in famine and had control of their own country. Now, often these people mean well. I work with a lot of these people. I've worked with these people for decades. You know what I'm saying? And they're just not connected. Their lineage is not connected to the region, so they're unaware. So to them, when Black Panther came out and they saw Africans not without swatting flies off their face and the stomachs not bloated, they thought, hey, this is a thing we can celebrate. Let's help Africa get to this place. This is what a lot of them thought. And they wanted to imagine this theme via the movie. But I'm here to let you people know, newsflash, it's not a thing. It's a reality. Despite the magical fruits that are in the movie, Africans are well-to-do, all right? You have Botswana, major parts of Nigeria, Angola, shit, Guinea's GDP is at 38,000 per capita, where the United States is at 58,000. That's only 20,000 more per capita. So my message to those that think that they are celebrating a theme that we're going to strive for is a farce. If you want to go see the movie on its own merits. Is it a good movie or not? That's what it should be upon. Don't think that you're starting some revolution to help Africa get somewhere that it needs to be as far as pushing it from famine. That's not the case. That is a farce that has been recycled over and over again for an agenda, and it's not the reality of it. But that's the least of my concern when it gets to the political aspect. The most troubling thought, honestly, is from African Americans themselves, who think, one, they are supporting Africa by example, getting Wakanda tattooed on their gums to mimic the movie, or they come dressed in American-made dashikis, or they stop playing in the middle of a televised basketball game to put a cat helmet on their face and cross their arms like Wonder Woman in front of a Disney actor on a televised basketball game. Understand, you are not showing support for Africa when you do this. You are showing support for an all-black cast playing in a fictitious Wakanda that is themed by some parts in Africa for the sake of Walt Disney. Believe you me, Africans do not see these acts of supporting Africa as supporting Africa either. How do I know? My father is African. He's a politician in a small African country called the Ivory Coast. The country is real close-knit with other countries like Nigeria, Ghana, and so forth, where a lot of my relatives are from. Now, I was speaking with one of my relatives from Ghana, okay, not too long ago, and he knows nothing about Black Panther, okay? So he said, and I always mess with him because his voice is real raspy and fucked up, so I always mess with him. And he says to me, cousin, what the fuck is a Wakanda? And I said, look, man, it's the Black Panther movie. This is before I saw the movie. It's going to be dope.
Damn.
Oh man! No. His mic.
His computer is like, no, he's on shit. All right, never mind. It's back.
He saw halfway through his rant. Fuck it, I'm out.
Oh man, I was about to say.
I heard Moss you back?
Yeah, did I go out?
Yeah, you went out.
All right,
you said, what is a Wakanda? Then you went out.
Oh, yeah. He said, what is a Wakanda? And I said, let me explain it to him. I said, look, man, it's the Black Panther movies. It's going to be dope. It's the cool comic, blah, blah. This is before I saw the movie. Now, he responded to me. He said, it's a shame that they make fake place in Africa. They come out in droves, but no true African heritage. And I'm like, look, man, I understand. Movie is done. That's why everybody's coming out to it. And he says, no, they pay all this money for the gimmick. They won't support the true African brothers and travel or nothing. It's bullshit. Then I bet you the movie's not even good. I said, hold on, cousin, just relax. You ain't even seen the movie yet. You can't say that. However, I went to go see the movie, and I'm going to be honest with you. The movie isn't toilet chunks, but it's not a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. And I thought he was tripping, but then I had to think about everything that he was saying. And what the awful thing is to me on that aspect from Black people when it comes to this movie is what my cousin said. We actually think in large troves that by praising a fictitious Wakanda that we're helping out Africa or we're honoring Africa. That's as insulting to Africans as me picking up a box of Lucky Charms and just because I bought 10 or 12 of them saying that I'm celebrating the Irish heritage. No, it's it's not magically delicious. So what I want to end off on the political front is say, for my brothers and sisters that feel like that they want to support Africa, how about you do this? On your next personal trip outside of the country, instead of going to Luxembourg or Big Ben or the Eiffel Tower, how about stop by Ghana or stop by New Guinea? You know what I'm saying? Where the GDP is high and it's a rich place. How about do that? How about show some true support? And those are my thoughts on the political aspect. And I'm going to let y'all chomp at it and start pulling out y'all pitchforks. What do y'all think about that?
This man came out strong.
Okay, definitely made quite some points there. But let's see what the defenders have to say.
Who's going first?
You sound way too excited, so we're gonna let you go first.
All right.
From what I got from his two main points were that we're not supporting Africa, and that's the main point I really focus on. Just that point that we're not supporting Africa, and I think that's not the case. That we're not supporting Africa, but we're supporting the cast, the black cast, the Pan-African cast. That's all we're trying to do. We also like when it comes to I guess the idea of this is what Africa could have been. It's just an idea. It's like a little kid picturing itself as a superhero. It's an idea of what we.
It's a fantasy.
Want. Yeah, it's just something that we want. It's a cool idea. It's not like we're trying to revolutionize or trying to like force this upon somebody. Like, yeah, we need to go get our own country and make Wakanda. Kill everybody in this side of this plot and make Wakanda. We're not trying to do that. We're just trying to support this movie. It's a great movie, and like from like Facebook and everything like that, I don't really see people like really clamoring to like even like Africa. Like, yeah, this is like supporting Africa. I've seen people saying support the cast, support the film because it's a real good film and it has a message behind it. But I really haven't seen anybody saying like, yeah, this is like, I understand where you're coming from, where you're talking about like people want like that's how they picture Africa would have been if all the incidents never happened. But like I said, it's a fantasy. It's not really much that you can. I don't know. I wouldn't say dig too political in it, but like I get where you're coming from, but I can't really fuck with it because I don't know. I just can't think. I don't think it's true.
I'm going to go with this, but we have to separate the argument. So you just said the movie itself wasn't necessarily all that bad. Maybe it's not 9 out of 10 for you.
It's the fans behind it.
We can't be mad at the movement or whatever it's bringing and call that toilet chunks. I mean, that's completely separate from the movie. You can't criticize the movie for a movement that happened because of it.
No, I agree with that. So toilet chunks, maybe toilet swirls. You know, I'm gonna get into the parts of the movie that I didn't like. Now, let me be accurate. I love Black Panther the comic. I have problems with the setup of Black Panther the movie, but what I wanted to address was a lot of the superficial support. Now, I'm not saying about y'all for the panel. You know what I'm saying? You guys more than me, of course, are comic book lovers. Y'all love to see the adaptation to movie, and y'all like the movie, and that's fine. If y'all like it and I don't, who am I? You know what I'm saying? But there were a lot of people that felt like they were supporting some type of revolution in support of Africa. And I understand, so you may have not heard it, but I've heard a lot of people. Look, I was coming into work one day, and it was a multicultural group of people that were leaving out. I was coming in from lunch. They were leaving out the Thursday that Black Panther released. And I said, hold on, where the hell are you guys going? We still got a whole bunch of shit to do. They said, oh, fuck that. We're going to go see Black Panther, support Africa. And I'm like, and the white dude was like, support Africa. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool shit. I didn't see the movie yet. But then they came back and they were like, oh, it's so great. And then they were like, you know, man, it's just great. You know, if it wasn't for colonization, Africans wouldn't be starving all over Africa. I mean, the way that they made it seem due to their ignorance is that Africa is so bleak and I'm here to say it's not. Like
I can agree with that. You gotta realize it's also due to what they show us on TV. Yeah. I talked to I've been dating a girl. She's from the Ivory Coast for like 5 years. And
okay, cool.
She tells me where she's from. It's like really beautiful, and I'm traveling there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like from like what we see on TV and what they constantly show us is it's only the bad part. They tell us that we always in war.
It's always one-sided.
We don't have no food and stuff like that. Like even if, like they don't even like touch up on the parts that Akon is helping out. They don't even say nothing about that man. Mm-hmm. That man is providing electricity, solar power everywhere almost in Africa. But I would say that's more what America is just showing off Africa. And
that is true. I agree with you. And not to cut you off, sorry, but I'll just say that, and I'm gonna shut up real quick. The problem that I have with that is in today's day and age, where with the click of a button, you can see where Bin Laden was at. You can go into Osama bin Laden's cave and all this other stuff. People are embedded here and people are embedded there. That you can see the pimple on somebody's ass from 80,000 miles away. You're trying to tell me that it's just the news media to blame for the ignorance of Africa, where people have said, you know what, let me see Africa for myself. And they went and traveled and they realized, hey, it's not that bad.
But it's been told to us for so long. I remember even like back in the day, like black people used to make fun of Africans.
Absolutely.
But and that's just because that's what we were taught. Like, oh, you don't want to be African because they got flies everywhere. They made names for African booty scratchers. That's just what we were taught. We're black. We're not African. It's different.
It's all a psychological game at the end of the day. I understand your point, Mighty Moss. As an African American male, seeing this movie, I didn't see as support of Africa. It's just more good representation of black people in general, and on a bigger scale, better representation of minorities as well. It's like for a change like this and Get Out, there isn't a movie centered on black people that has nothing to do with slavery, like drug trades, being locked up, incarcerated, nothing like that. It's just more good representation of it. That's how I looked at the movie. But I do see your point as I guess African Americans in the United States, with their ignorance, they're trying to support this movie. Oh yeah, we're supporting Africa. I understand your frustration with that because this movie supporting it doesn't mean support Africa. It really should take a movie to get us to support our own heritage as well. So I do see your point as well. They should have done that from the get-go. For a movie to make them come out and start saying, "Oh, we're support Africa now." I do see your point there, where you get your frustration from.
But I also seen like the cast. They've been doing interviews and they're actually like promoting like people to find out their heritage. And instead of taking like 23andMe and just the regular Ancestry.com, which they're not gonna really tell you about African heritage, they actually got this a real place that a real website owned by black people called African Ancestry, and it tells you about, it goes all the way back like 500 years, and it teaches you about your what tribe you may be from in other parts of Africa and stuff like that.
Yep, that's true. As far as like African Americans' ignorance towards our own heritage, it's partly because of the media and the news, but the other part of blame is ourselves.
Yeah, and that's time. Yeah, I can agree with that.
In this day and age, information is ubiquitous. There is no reason we shouldn't be able to find the tools to find out about ourselves. So if someone's ignorant about their own heritage, it's really their own fault.
Yeah, but I think we can also take account, and I give props to Black Panther. They kind of enrich almost African traditions and African culture within the movie. Even though it's a fictional place, they still take some African like culture and put it into the movie. Like a lot of the stuff is based off real things in Africa, and I think that's cool that you get to see it on the big screen. And you know, it might teach people a thing or two because not everybody knows that they might come from that type of culture, that their type of culture had shit like that.
It's definitely a good blend of different cultures and beliefs.
The one thing I would say I would wish they would do, like for the character design, like I retweeted on like Twitter and everything, but I wish they like supported it more, like actually show each part of where these character designs come from.
Absolutely. Actually, there to interject right there for a second, Soul and Moss, before you go into that, they actually did. There was a lot of tweets coming out from behind the scenes on the costume designers, the two women who actually went out and spent time in Africa working with all these different tribes to understand how each tribe's own sense of identity and their attire is. Each of the tribes that were in the Black Panther movie were based on a different tribe. They're in Africa, on how they dress, from the neck rings that a lot of them wore as adornments, as well as the face plates and a lot of the decorations that we saw, like that. From the hair and everything else. They went real deep into that, and it's something that they've been talking about.
A tweet. That's the thing. It's just a tweet.
Well, they have it in their behind the scenes. They haven't released a lot of that yet because it's slowly coming out. But they do have a lot of talk about what they did going behind the scenes and working with these different tribes. There was, I believe, an article that actually came out about the two women who went out there for quite a while to learn the set design for how they were going to do all the different outfits. And
that's cool. I would add to that too, let's promote that more. Let's not get tattoos of Wakanda on our gums and tweet that all over Twitter. Let's promote that more. That's good.
I don't see nothing wrong with that though. Like that's what is that like that's like somebody getting the Harry Potter lightning on his forehead.
Well, yeah, if there's nothing wrong with that if you're doing that as a fan of the movie, opposed to saying to having the caption, "I support Africa." You know what I'm saying? I support my brothers, and you got Wakanda. No, and again, that's like me getting a box of Lucky Charms, eating it, and saying, "Yeah, I support the Irish heritage." That would be, people would be like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" No, so I just want to try to tamper down on the ignorance. And again, I'm not saying you can like the movie and not give two shits about Africa. That's fine. That's fine. I just want to bring awareness to, just because you're supporting this movie is not a conduit to you supporting Africa. It's a conduit to you supporting Disney, but it's not a conduit to you supporting Africa. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that believe that.
Yeah, I definitely get your point. Like, let's look on the flip side, right? Like a little quick analogy. Let's say we're fans of Kendrick Lamar, right? They hear somebody come along, they know nothing about him. They hear one song about him. Oh, yeah, I'm a fan of him. Yeah, I'm a diehard fan of him. I support his man. They don't hear one song about him, and they're trying to claim their all the support from him. I think that's where Moss is coming from on this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what?
I agree.
You kind of have a point there, Moss. I can absolutely see that. But at the end of the day, I think it's still cool that they were able to bring African culture and bring it to light and have people excited for maybe their heritage and their continent, even though it might be a fictional setting, even though they might be misleading themselves and saying, if I watch this movie, I'm supporting my homeland. But either way, it's good that they are at least interested in their heritage.
And hopefully that interest, yeah, and that's good. If that's what sparks their interest, great. But I just want to make sure that people are aware it's not to tell all, see all. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And there's more to go. So that's my political beef, but that's something different. And again, that doesn't relate to the panel. But I got two other beefs.
Yeah, hold on. Before we get to those,
hang on. Though, yeah.
I want to go ahead. You're probably even. I think you have this as one of your beefs, anyways. But I like to look at what Terry Crews wrote about Black Panther, and he said it was kind of cool for one seeing a black superhero be, the main black superhero, not just this funny side character, not just the side character in general until the white real superhero comes into action. But Black Panther was the main hero, and he was of color. I think you had a problem with that, Monty Moss, because you always said there were plenty of other black superheroes, like Blade, for instance, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Here's what I feel as an African American. It's not, and maybe it's just me. And honestly, and I don't mean to offend anybody. It's not nobody's. It's all a cultural thing. But one thing I've learned from my father and my father's side of the family is it's not good to just show that, hey, I'm here. It's to show that, hey, I'm here and I can do something extravagant. And I think Blade, it's kind of like what 108 Dragon has said. I don't know if he likes the movie or not, so I don't want to put any words in his mouth. But it's like what he said on the first episode or the second episode that I showed up on where he had to leave early, where he said, hey, it's great that we have movies and shows like Black Lightning. I think Black Lightning is awesome.
Lightning is amazing.
It's dope.
Yeah. Black Lightning is dope. And Black Lightning is more message-centric than Black Panther was to me. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, he was like, every time something involves a black character, it doesn't mean that we got to have a protest about something. I just want to see a black character kick some ass. And Blade was kicking some ass. So I get where Terry Crews is coming from, that this may have been the biggest whoop to do about a black character, but I'm not worried about the whoop to do. I'm not worried about the aesthetics. I'm worried about the substance. What I wanted to see, and I'll get back to this later. I wanted to see Black Panther. The Black Panther that I've never read this comic, so you guys correct me if I'm wrong. But I heard in one comic issue that Black Panther went toe to toe with Wolverine. Now, Wolverine's my favorite comic character. So to hear that Black Panther went toe to toe with Wolverine and just walked away, and walked away like nothing happened, that's the Black Panther I wanted to see. I wanted them to see, okay, even though I'm a black character, I can go toe to toe with everybody. You know what I'm saying?
We actually saw a snippet of that in Civil War.
Okay.
That's pretty much,
you have to let him get to that point.
Oh yeah,
This is Mitch's origin story. Let me pause everyone here for a second to kind of interject on that. Moss is the character of Black Panther is definitely one that can kick ass, and we all wanted to see kick ass. However, you got to understand that the pacing of the movie was putting the fights at moments when they're needed. It wasn't going to be just action just for the sake of action like a lot of other movies, because that dilutes the movie. This movie was more than just the action of a superhero. It was about the ideology of what T'Challa stood for. And we have seen him kick plenty of superheroes' ass. And actually, if you want to really go into it, he actually first appeared in Fantastic Four. He appeared in the Fantastic Four comic. And when he appeared to them, he actually beat all the Fantastic Four together before choosing to really show himself to them and asking them to come help protect Wakanda. He was the first one to make contact with the Fantastic Four. The Fantastic Four were the first ones to see Wakanda, and he chose them.
Actually, he definitely, it was definitely the first. It was the issue of Fantastic Four, but he brought them there just for a test. To just test
he tested them, but he did kick all their asses, just like a majority of other superheroes.
That's kind of funny. He finally there, beat their asses, like, all right, I need your help, guys. Like,
and then he actually did practically the same thing with the Avengers. Am I right, Bloody?
Yeah.
He literally took on like the whole Avengers team.
Yeah, he like, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't want to be an Avenger."
But speaking of that, Monty Moss, Operation, you brought it up in Civil War. If you rewatch Civil War, you realize Black Panther is kicking fucking ass. But what just kept happening was a Scarlet Witch would just like kind of grab him and throw him away because the dude was like unstoppable. And even at one point, he's chasing the Winter Soldier, right? And Captain America literally has to throw his shield behind his head to make him stop.
Yeah,
like he literally had to boomerang him off the dude, and then he scratched that shield. Like the dude was unstoppable in the whole movie.
Yeah, we also understand why he was like that in Civil War. He saw his father die before his eyes. He's seeking revenge.
Yeah, he was fixing.
And he was. Yeah. If you rewatch it, he was everywhere. Like the scene where Bucky jumps on the roof. I was like, how did he get there so fucking fast?
He didn't give it down. He made his way up there.
I was to say, like the Winter Soldier in that movie was shown like if he goes in that soldier mode, he's practically unstoppable. Like he kicks Captain America's ass. Let's be real. But fucking Black Panther practically put him down without his armor, and that just tells you something. If Black Panther could put him out without his armor, and Captain America struggles, you know Black Panther's the shit.
Yeah, especially in this Civil War, his mind was he had single focus on the mind: kill Bucky Barnes. In Black Panther, the fights he had, he's more emotionally conflicted because he just had the revelation about his father. He wasn't the king that he made him out to be. So by the time he got to Killmonger and they had their duel at the end, he's more conflicted. Like, am I right or is he right? So that's why you didn't see him pull up as much.
It was a lot of things. It was a lot of things that was on his mind. He just
he was definitely conflicted.
His best friend is pissed at him. It's a lot. Like.
Exactly. It wasn't the fact that he was just fighting to fight and he was just going at it, because the fact that, remember, he didn't want to kill Killmonger. He didn't want to kill Eric because of the fact that he learned the truth and was upset and betrayed by the lie that his dad told. But he wanted to hide. However, Killmonger wasn't in that mindset. Everything that happened to Killmonger, he was very set in his ways. He knew what he wanted. He was going for the kill. If T'Challa wanted to, he could have stopped Killmonger in that fight when he disarmed him, but he told him to surrender. He didn't want to kill him. But that's when Killmonger told him that you're either going to kill me or I'll kill you. And he stood up, even without nothing, and then went aggressive on him. He was going
I would say, let's hear Mighty Mouse second point.
Well, no, this is good because this is an actual segue into my second point that you guys brought up some very elaborate stuff. Well, this kind of relates to my third point, what we're talking about now, but I'll circle back to it. For my second point, here's what I kind of feel like my emotions were played with here, okay? When it came to this movie. Here's why.
Oh.
Yep, here's why. Again, I wasn't the most in-depth Black Panther reader, but my cousin had all the comics, and I would read them when I could and all this other stuff. And a lot of the comics that as far as knowing what the characters did and whose ass they kicked and who they got their asses kicked by, I read a lot of Who's Who's. I don't know if that's still around, but that was a big thing when I was growing up. It was a comic of Who's Who's where it did like a recap of all the shit that was going on currently with all the characters. All right. So when I heard, now this is going to be an interesting discussion. Here's how I felt my emotions were played with. Now, as you guys know, I'm a big martial arts watcher. You know, that's my thing. I'm into martial. I'm into anime too, but I really follow martial arts and martial arts movies. Bak, The Protector, Wolf Warrior, shit like that. All right.
Yeah.
So when I heard that the legendary Maurice Crump, the greatest martial artist of our time right now, was going to handle the choreography for this movie, I said, oh shit, Black Panther's already a badass. The action and the choreography in this is going to be even more badass. Now, for those of you that don't know Maurice Crump is a martial. Maurice Crump, he's a martial artist. He's been on movies such as The Man with the Iron Fist, The Protector 2. And when he was filming The Protector 2, his martial arts skills were so marveled in Thailand that the Bruce Lee of Thailand, which is Tony Jaa, they said, fuck you, move to the motherfucking side. And then they ordained Maurice Crump as one of the greatest martial artists in Thailand at the time. You know what I'm saying? And even Tony Jaa was like, hey, what can I say? This guy is awesome. So when I heard that Maurice Crump was going to coordinate the martial arts fighting in here, I said, holy shit, they're being serious about the action in this movie. And some people may like the action. They may have thought it was cool or whatever. To me, it was more the movie, even though it had action segments in it, it was more dramatic than anything. You know what I'm saying? And if you like that, that's fine. It wasn't quite as dramatic as Logan, but if you want the dramatic piece, it's fine. But I'm thinking Black Panther, Maurice Crump. This is going to be an action extravaganza, and I felt like my emotions were played with. So that's what knocked a couple points off for me. Now that's my thoughts. I'm gonna pass it back to the panel.
I think it's trying to segue back to what we talked about earlier. Like we all want to pull up on this movie too, but this is his origin story as well. So it's gonna be a big focus on the actual fights, more the story and underlying tones of the movie as well. But after you just described as Maurice Crump, I believe. Maurice. Yeah, I hope to God I bring this person back for the next movie because I really want to see them skills fruition with the actual movie that's more focused around actual fighting instead of like the underlying tones of the movie. But I do see your point. We would like to see more action, but for this movie, that's not like the goal of it.
Mm-hmm. The action where it was necessary, and it did show. It did show in a lot of the fight scenes. Look alone at the casino scene. All right, we saw how Okoye handled herself as well as Nakia with Black Panther working in the middle before they made the chase in the cars against Claw. Now, I do know that he is one of the best martial artists in the world, right up there. However, you could see where it's shown, especially on a lot of the one-on-one scenes. Because look at alone against T'Challa versus M'Baku in the beginning when he was doing the test for the king, for the throne. You saw a lot of that fighting there because Black Panther is a skilled martial artist. The man is smart. He's an MIT graduate. He's been to Oxford. He's trained in so many different martial arts, and we saw some of that show. We didn't get to see a lot of it. However, we did get to see enough to know where his skill is.
I mean, I think you saw something there to where it shows some martial arts aspect. But what I urge you guys to do, if you like to see people get their ass kicked, watch The Protector 2.
I watched all those. I watched Protector. I watched.
Okay.
And go back to see those.
I watched. I like Maurice Crump but I'll say my favorite choreographer for fighting is probably Donnie Yen. I loved all his moves.
You know, Donnie Yen and
Donnie
Wilson
Yen,
Yip. Donnie Yen and Wilson Yip. Yeah, when them two are together, yeah, they're awesome.
But like,
See,
I can understand. Yeah, I can totally understand what you're coming from in the fight scenes, but I just think that they wanted to take it a little bit slower and make it more, like you said, dramatic, and make like the challenges are just they're there to like to show you what they have to go through to get to the throne.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
And the only scene I could truly say that he probably was really a part of with the casino fight. That was a long cut. Like you see the camera going everywhere, especially on Okoye. You see her. I think he really helped her with that.
Oh yeah, you really saw where her martial arts skill, because we gotta remember she was using a spear. Using a spear as a fighting style is not something that's commonly used. It's very traditional, and the way that they were fighting, especially if you paid attention to the Dora Milaje versus Killmonger aspect, you really saw a lot of that.
Yep.
Where you can definitely see the Asian roots and how they use a spear, which is where Crump really showed on where his choreography came into place. Now, yes, I understand where you're coming from by looking at movies like The Protector, and if you really want to go into some of the top fighting movies, you know, Ong Bak, Donnie Yen, Ip Man. If you want to real go extreme, look at The Raid. I know all that. Trust me, I've seen the points, and he's definitely up there. However, what he was trying to show was it was being used in taste. It wasn't just another one of the most martial arts films that we've seen where it's fight, fight, fight because that drives the story. This isn't what that was. It was fighting in the aspect of it makes sense to the story. Now, that's not to knock any of those movies, because those movies are all masterpieces in their own right. The Raid is still probably one of the best martial arts and probably the most brutal that I've ever seen. If you haven't seen The Raid, watch it.
Yeah, definitely.
Up there.
But, not to go too far off subject, but just to throw this out here. What's your favorite, Raid 1 or Raid 2?
The first one. I like the first one more.
Yeah, the first one, because I like the feel of it. See, the second one was more of a more revenge tale, and it had its aspect. However, I really like the first one because I like the thought of the whole squad went in there. The entire building was a trap by the person who owns it, and now they have to fight their way out, and they have to go level to level.
It's why that one character that I like that had like the long sleeve shirt on. He just looked like he was just like a bum. He was like a top martial artist. He was super dope.
Yeah. And that's why, and you could see that aspect play out in a recent remake. Before we go back to the main point, was we saw that in the Judge Dredd reboot, that it was all in Mega City Block 7, where it was Judge Dredd was trapped in the building, and they had to fight all the way through all the different levels to get up to kill Lena Headey's character. That aspect reminded me very heavily of The Raid, which it was inspired by, and you could see where that played out really well.
You hear there's not to go far left again, but you know, I've been doing a little drinking. You hear that they're making an American version of The Raid? What are your thoughts on that?
They better get a good choreographer.
Yeah, they better. If Jackie Chan's team isn't on it, I don't want it.
Yeah. When I heard that, I said, "Oh, please don't ruin it. Please don't ruin it."
Yeah, that movie is probably is one of the top martial arts movies out there.
I think it's number one. I think it's number one, and I'll put Yip Man at 2, and I'll put Raid 2 at a close 3. You know,
for me, number 4 would have to be I Saw the Devil. I Saw the Devil's probably one of the most hyped up.
I almost cried in that movie, boy. Man, talk about that.
All right, we'll talk our favorite martial arts movies another day. But right now,
I'm gonna need a list for these movies.
Yeah. Now back to the main action. Back to Roasted Moss.
See, I had to take a break. That's why I threw you guys left.
Yeah. He knows that he's getting worked in the corner right now.
I will actually give him this point, because it's not like I can understand where he's coming from. So I can really understand, but I can also because what he said was like what we all agreed to it. It was for dramatic purposes and stuff like that. So
exactly.
He said he really wanted to see like real action. Like
real fight. Pull up.
Yeah. And you can see where the fight scenes are authentic. You could definitely see where his choreography came in.
And then the last fight scene. Yeah. the CG, but
we all made the point that the CG was a little off-putting on the train. It wasn't big, but it was definitely noticeable just because of the fluctuation with the suit. But for the most part, we all agreed that the fight itself was still
and that's my thing. Like, I get so even though I started to see in the movie like, oh, this is not going to be the action twist that I expected, but there were missed opportunities. Like, no, you know what? Let me shut up. I'm gonna save that for my third point. Go ahead. I'm gonna shut up.
All right. Cyrus, you want to take your floor? Or are you good?
Yeah.
No, I think I'm good. I think we.
I guess what I'll say about the action is, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's for dramatic reasons, but I think it's a Ryan Coogler thing. Like, you have to remember, he directed Creed, and Creed, it was like a lot of those action scenes were sort of similar to Black Panther with like how he would almost kind of box the challenges. Yeah, it was almost just like Creed, where he would like punch him and shit.
Yeah, it wasn't so much. The action wasn't like jaw dropping. It was just the what do you call that? The cinematic climax to the action.
Yeah. But I will say you felt some of those punches, man.
Rocky. I would agree. It was more Rocky-ish.
Yeah, and that's because of his background with Creed, I think.
But I wouldn't knock that, because if you've actually sat down and watched Creed, that a lot of the fights. Yeah,
Creed is a good movie. Creed is
like better than the Rocky movie. But that's my opinion.
The rebooted Rocky Balboa movie, that one was off. But what Ryan Coogler did with Creed, man, it had me in my feels. I'll say that. But you could see right there in the fights where it was definitely dramatic and where they put the emphasis on it, but it still had its points. Yep. But I think we got that topic here and got it. So, Moss, I want you to go ahead and make your third standpoint for me.
My third and final stance. All right, y'all trying to cut me over both eyes. I'm wobbling, but I'm still throwing blows. Okay.
Definitely holding off right now. Definitely holding.
My third and final point is, it's kind of similar to my second point, but I just feel like I was duped a little bit. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I was duped a little bit, not with just the Maurice Crump thing, but all the trailers that I've seen. Like, maybe it was just me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'll throw in the towel here. You know what I'm saying, and blame myself. But with Infinity War coming, with Thor Ragnarok coming, and that was, a big action smash and shit. You know what I'm saying? And then I saw all the trailers for this. I get it's an origin story, but I felt like that not only the action, but the climax, the intensity of the story, there was a missed opportunity there. Like, for instance, okay, Black Panther's bad. I get that there's going to be a sequel. I get that. But I think they could have done better with, this is me armchair quarterbacking as far as how the movie was written. And this is a spoiler. Spoiler alert. Let the motherfucking weapons get out of Wakanda and force Black Panther to go out there with some people and stop this shit. You know what I'm saying? To increase the opportunity for some action so my man Maurice Crump can shine. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even though you want to tell an origin story, add some more intensity to the story. Like, oh my goodness, these weapons are out here. And maybe they don't reach everybody. Maybe 2 out of the 3 planes that were flying out, 2 get shot down, 1 makes it. It goes to this one region. He got to go and battle it out. You know what I'm saying? And then him and Killmonger battle it out at the end. You know what I'm saying? That's one missed opportunity for me. And then lastly, in the final fight, I mean, I get it. If all the other stuff was dramatic and stuff like that and not really up my alley, that's where I think missed opportunities were as far as the fighting was concerned, where you guys talked about that train scene. Look, you got Killmonger and Black Panther both dressed in the suits made by the sister, right? You could put, oh man, I forgot the real names of the actors. They're not martial artists. Maurice Crump trained for years. You got to train for decades and decades to have those skills. But that's your opportunity to put some real martial artists in those suits and at least have the final powwow bad as shit. You know what I'm saying? So I think there were some missed opportunities, not only even though it was an origin story, I get where you guys are coming from and it makes sense. But I think there were some missed opportunities on extending that intensity a little bit, because every Marvel movie, there's some climactic thing that actually happens in the real world that they got to solve. And I don't feel like that kind of happened in Black Panther was just that the leadership of Wakanda was a problem and something could possibly get out of Wakanda, which was a missed opportunity. And the final fight scene, you got Maurice. I'm sorry, I'm going back to it. You got Maurice Crump. You got a final fight scene. You got motherfuckers in cat suits. Get some real martial artists in there. Let Maurice Crump choreograph the shit out of that and make that the baddest fucking 5 minutes in Marvel history.
But I think that's not what they was trying to capture, because there was so much dialogue when they was fighting that you really had to understand. And I think that they didn't want to just throw all that out just to have a cool looking fight. Even if you go to the first Iron Man, the person he fought, that was terrible. That was a terrible fight.
It was.
Yeah, Warmonger.
Even if you go to Captain America's origins, first movie, like a lot of these, they're terrible. You go back and look at them, they're terrible. Yeah. But I think they didn't want to do like just a straight up fight. They wanted to actually give you a message, and they wanted to show you how T'Challa was changing after this fight. Because even after the fight, he looked like man, I didn't want to do none of this shit. And he looked at him like, and even at the very, very end, he's like, maybe we can still save you. Because this was never his plan. He never wanted to fight him. Even when he first came to Wakanda, he was like, he didn't want none. He's like, we could solve this another way.
Yeah, and even like with Killmonger, when he gets stabbed, he just looks down at the blade and he's like, I lost. Like, you just see that in his face. Like, he just accepted defeat.
Yeah, he was just like, good move. Hell of a move.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. Even in that instance, Killmonger probably could have like got T'Challa in like the neck or something, but he just accepted defeat.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, no, I understand. It's just,
but no, you are right in an instance. Like, let's be honest. Like, every 10 seconds, a fucking train would come through and then like disturb the fight.
Exactly.
And like, it wasn't quite as intense. As
I think they did that. They did that to add dialogue.
Yeah. They did that for effect, because of the fact that, remember, the first time they did it after they fell in there, you know, Killmonger knew what he was doing, and you could understand where they both come into why they're both smart, why they're both intelligent fighters, because Killmonger has always is big in guerrilla tactics. I remember his history as the special forces. He knows guerrilla. He knows how to mess with his enemy, and T'Challa shows that he's a smart fighter too. That's what he has. And when Killmonger understood what he was doing, he's like, all right, so it's gonna come down to skill. All right. Yeah. Let it be that.
Like, imagine if they didn't go down there. You know how that fight would have never ended. It would have never ended, because nobody would have took any serious damage. It had just been a run-on fight, because the vibranium suits, it could stop stabs. It could stop even stop the impact. So it was just going to be a pointless fight, because they're going to keep absorbing impact and just knock each other away.
And you know what, Soul? I would have loved every minute of it.
Yeah, like maybe getting to the point where the suits almost break down because they fight that much. I can see that.
Yeah. Well, let's be real here. The movie that Moss is describing as far as fight scene, that sounds like a dope-ass movie right there.
Yeah, like, that's why I'm not necessarily disagreeing with him right now.
Exactly. Hopefully incorporate in the next Black Panther
movie. But I think, honestly, let's be real, the movie was like 2.5 hours, or at least it felt like that.
Should have been 2:30.
I think they did that fight to show you that Black Panther his suit has a weakness. His new suit has a weakness.
Yeah.
So if Black Panther actually, if he goes out to like the regular, like goes out of Wakanda and fights multiple people, they're not going to be able to do anything to like really stop him. They can try to get Vision or like Scarlet Witch to like stop him, but if those people aren't there, what are they going to do? Because he could tank everything that Iron Man gives him.
Exactly.
Yep. Definitely.
And you got to think too, and I'm going to interject on this part right here, because you were mentioning how you felt like the ships needed to get out. No, because here's why. What the universe that they built in Black Panther is so expansive that it was a universe all of its own. It didn't even need to be a part of the Marvel universe. You saw the ties on where it showed that, but there was so much in it itself that if they pulled it out, they could do an entire universe all on their with the fact of the vibranium, that's where they got to pull in their MCU aspect by having Agent Ross. T'Challa's fight was always about Wakanda. Wakanda was always his first priority. The protection of his people was his first priority. Whereas Ross was trying to stop the vibranium from getting out because he was fighting to save the world. He was trying to protect the world of vibranium once he understood what Wakanda was capable of. And to kind of go into here, Ryan Coogler actually had an alternate ending scene where we see where T'Challa and Okoye, Nakia, and Shuri appear at the UN when they make their debut about joining the UN, on Wakanda's behalf. Well, in that scene, originally he had Ross meet T'Challa in the foyer right there when they're first walking into the UN building, and actually stopping him and telling him that he didn't want T'Challa to come out about Wakanda. He didn't want to tell them about what they were capable of. Ross was actually wanting to help protect Wakanda, because you saw throughout the movie that Ross was just like, how is everything here possible? There's no way with everything else in the world. And they're like, no, we have proven this. And at first you see the thoughts that he wants to be able to bring this, but throughout the movie, he sees what they go through, what they're willing to sacrifice, what they're doing to protect their people, what they're doing to protect Wakanda, and why it cannot get out. And he goes into that mindset of, in that original alternate ending, that he didn't want to leak it out as well. He wanted T'Challa to keep Wakanda hidden. He wanted to keep what they're capable of doing hidden. He wanted to help protect them. He didn't want anything else. He was focused on the world, whereas T'Challa was grounded in the reality of what to do for his country.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just want to say real quick, big up to 108 Dragon. Big up to everybody in the chat, man. Big up to 108 Dragon.
Love everyone.
He said I'm crazy. Hey, man, look, you got to listen to the whole thing, man. Listen to the whole thing. See, I came at an angle. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they expected me to come at 108. You know what I'm saying?
The political part, I was like, hold, what the fuck?
Yeah. You could tell the boy was doing his homework on that one.
And big up to my co-host, Scram Punk CRS Fusion Wolf. He said, meeting of the minds, loving it, man. Big ups, man. I appreciate that. Hey, man, these guys are fantastic, man. If y'all are in this chat, spread the news, retweet the tweets. You know what I'm saying? This is an excellent podcast. Man. We have a great discussion.
Man, Neverland's cutting up. He said Mighty Ruckus 2K. I'm done. I'm like, real quick, I'm gonna get my piece real quick on this one.
That's what they're gonna call you from now on. Mighty Ruckus.
Yeah. I'll say this, I'll get my piece. As far as like the combat in Black Panther, I look at it this way, like with an analogy, like look at some of the Sony games, like Uncharted, like beautiful graphics, story, but like the gameplay still on the back burner. Doesn't mean it's bad or anything, but the focal point of what they're trying to deliver to you is the presentation of it and the story. That's kind of like how they did with Black Panther. It had some good fight scenes as well, but that was the main focal point of it, was the story. And like
exactly. And I think we'll really get to see, because you got to think too that in Infinity War, Marcus Crump did help out a little bit because of the fact of everything that's going on from there. Because you got to remember, at the same time that they were doing Black Panther, they was also going in and out of recording for Infinity War. So we're going to see a lot of that big aspect, especially in Infinity War, because remember, we've seen in the trailers that Thanos is going to invade Wakanda, and we're going to see all of Wakanda going at it. So
get this man a shield.
Man, he's one-shotting everybody. Like,
we're gonna see that come into play there, heavily come into play.
They better do it, man.
Hell yeah, Black Panther's gonna one-shot people. His claws can like probably kill one of those things instantly.
Well, I mean, Thanos is one-shotting everybody.
Thanos, yeah, he one-shotted Iron Man.
Oh yeah, but I don't think they introduced anti-metal yet, so we're not gonna see the anti-metal claws yet.
Yeah, but yeah, his claws are from like Antarctica or something, right?
No. The anti-metal is a special metal that is the opposite of vibranium that comes from the Savage Lands, which
and it can destroy any metal in molecular level.
Yep, at a molecular level.
I thought they said his claws were from Antarctica, and yeah, it did that shit where it like cuts through metal like butter.
Yeah, no, that was different, but it wasn't anti-metal. Now, because the Savage Lands are tied to the Fantastic Four. No. The Savage Lands is tied to the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, it has dinosaurs.
Yeah. But
they can probably introduce them. Oh, they can introduce the Fantastic Four that way. You can set up as they were trapped in the Savage Land trying to get out.
Yeah.
They could do it that way.
Man,
There's
I
so
want
much-
another Fantastic Four movie.
Not now, but
Hey,
like
but
later
look,
on
man,
in the phase.
like I said before, 2 out of 2 Human Torches have been redeemed by the MCU. Maybe they can redeem the whole Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah, Michael B. Jordan was the Human Torch, right?
Yeah,
Yes, he
and
was.
Bruh, that is
Oh
crazy
my
when you think
God.
about it.
I forgot about that.
And so was Chris Evans. He was the
God.
original.
Oh, that poor man. But hey,
But I don't
you
know.
saved him.
Wasn't one of his points he was talking about how it didn't feel like it was in like it wasn't like jeopardizing the world or anything like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my point on that is like many other Marvel movies, it seems like but
The
well,
world's
besides
always in danger. The world's always at risk.
the world's always at danger, but they try to solve it themselves. And they never ask for help. So you in the back of your head, you're thinking, why won't they just call so and so or just ask so and so? But in this movie, Black Panther, it's a country problem that they just want to solve themselves, and they don't want nobody else to be involved. They were even like nervous to even get Ross to even come to their country because they were so afraid of what can possibly happen.
Exactly. But T'Challa took that risk because of what Ross had done, and he brought him into it. And at first, Ross didn't want any part of it, in the sense of that he was in disbelief of what Wakanda was.
Yeah.
And like I said,
and if the weapons would have got out, that would have just gave more leeway for other countries to try to invade.
exactly.
Invade, and like
'Cause
they
that
would never
would-
accept
that-
Wakanda.
Because that wouldn't. I doubt that would have added a scene for the fight because it wouldn't make no sense because Killmonger would still be fighting T'Challa, and somebody else would have to go deal with that problem.
Yep.
Well, or couldn't they have, like, you had one plane get out of the 3? I was thinking of it like this, and of course I'm armchair quarterback in here,
Yeah.
but they go to like a small little terrorist faction, Black Panther, and his people go to stop the terrorist faction before the weapons really get out and it gets exposed. You know what I'm saying? And then he goes back to. I see what I was thinking was going to happen was I thought he was going to have to leave Wakanda a little bit. I didn't realize he was going to go to the outside tribe, which was a nice little twist to the story. But, I thought he was going to have to leave Wakanda, get his recognizance back, then come back. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's an opportunity where if you were looking to put a little bit more action into it, you could have had a plane get out, put a little bit more action into it where he stops the plane. I mean, he stops the weapons really being used and Wakanda being exposed, and he comes back to Wakanda. But that's just me because I just love to see people get their asses kicked all over the place. That's just me.
I can see where you're coming from, but they wanted to try to keep it more
Contained.
relatable to the comic.
Exactly.
And,
When he got thrown over the waterfall in the comic, he went to many tribes and basically learned lessons from them. Then he came back.
Yeah, and you have to also remember it has to stay within the story because at the end, he reveals Wakanda to the world. Like that would have looked really bad if, like, hey guys, before I join the UN and shit, I leaked some weapons out there.
Yeah, but think of it this way too as well, is that now that he's out in the world, now that Wakanda's out there and what vibranium and everything that they offer, now you're gonna start seeing illegal made weapons with vibranium. And what that's gonna do is it, because we know that this is one of those ones that is going to get a sequel. We know that now that vibranium's out in the world, that's gonna be public, that we're gonna start seeing illegal made vibranium weapons. Not anything designed on Wakanda or anything, but we're gonna see others. Maybe there might be some smuggled out. Maybe there's people who are gonna try and steal them or whatever. But we already know the roots and thoughts of planting with the end credit scene with Bucky being called the White Wolf. Now, to kind of give you a little bit of tact there, White Wolf in one storyline was a white baby, a white child that was found by T'Chaka, that T'Chaka took in and adopted as his own. And as he grew up, he always had that kind of foreigner aspect and kind of outsider, even within Wakanda, but T'Chaka still raised him. And when T'Challa took over, T'Chaka appointed him as the White Wolf, the hunter. His name was Hunter the White Wolf. He was a protector and kind of the head of what's known as their Wakandan police, their special forces. And another one is that when with this, that there's talks that T'Challa's gonna appoint Bucky as the head of this Wakandan Special Forces, known as the White Wolf, and that they're gonna go out and find where these illegal vibranium weapons are going to be coming from, and that can kind of help guide in Black Panther 2 as well as Bucky's own story.
That would be dope. No, that would be dope, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I want to see. Like, okay, I'm willing to do a Phil Spencer, let's wait till E3 type thing with this. All right, Black Panther 2.
Get ready to see Bucky with a vibranium arm.
Exactly.
We already know he's going to get the vibranium arm, but let's see what it's going to do, because apparently he's supposed to get like a vibranium style blade in it that he can come out. Shoo, boy.
Oh man, can you have something like
did y'all see like, did y'all see new, Captain America's new shield?
Oh yeah, that full
kinda.
It's that temporary Wakandan shield. It's like it goes on his wrist, and that he can make it pop out and grow at will. With it.
I hope that he gets like a one that's kind of like his old one, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to give it. They're trying to give it that type of style.
Yeah, I think they're trying to hint at it. Like you won't see until the full movie what it really is gonna look like.
I mean, if anything, I hope they bring back the energy shield. I always like the energy shield.
Yeah, that was cool. Can I ask y'all a question? Let me and this is going way left. All right, but
all right.
No, I've been reading recently on the whole dilemma with Captain America in the comics, right? And him being really a part of you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't know. Do you think I doubt it, but do you think that MCU would actually implement that in the movie universe? Or like him actually being a traitor?
Who, Captain America? Definitely, if you're going off the new Captain America comics where it was revealed that he was working for Hydra.
But you got
to remember too that along with that twist came out is that Hydra had brainwashed him way back in 1945 before he was frozen, and he didn't realize what he was doing was actually helping Hydra's thing. And I could see it happening. And I also think that was all due to like it was something that happened it was like a reality warping thing that happened in that Red Skull had left planted during their final battle back in 1945.
Mm-hmm. But he's technically considered a traitor now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. So that's a good point. That's a good point. Yep.
But I think on the level of him being part of Hydra, I think that'll take some time, because we did see, when during Winter Soldier, when him and Black Widow went to that hidden Hydra base, and they broke in there and were able to find everything and saw
the supercomputer and stuff.
Yeah, the supercomputer that was left over by the assistant to Red Skull back during the early days of Hydra. We kind of saw how that laid the foundations with that. And we kind of saw that Cap had a bit of a reaction to that. Of course, they could lay the foundations for Cap being a traitor, but I don't think we'll see it anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do it. That comic kind of had backlash to it, and it just doesn't fit his character right now.
Yeah, that hurt a lot of people's feelings.
Yeah, a lot of people are pretty butthurt over it, even though it's just a comic book.
I mean, people get butthurt over every new rendition of a comic series.
Yeah, but they don't want that for their movies. Let's be real.
Captain America, traitor, rage.
Fuck no.
But I mean, that would give it an interesting take. I mean, we could probably see them push the line on that. Is that the most patriotic man alive being a traitor? It would be definitely something interesting. I mean, they basically do that already as it is with the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that, but speaking about like traitor, and you guys mentioned the Red Skull. Do you think we're going to see this motherfucker back in Infinity War, or maybe alluded to the next Avengers? Come on, man, he's not dead. He's not dead.
Who's that?
I think they don't even want the. He wasn't a good villain, really. Honestly,
nah, he had.
In the MCU, he wasn't a good villain.
Yeah,
but the MCU doesn't. Besides, like Killmonger, who was a good villain?
You're right.
Ultron was supposed to be a good villain.
Like, come on, man, you gotta build up these characters somehow. Maybe you can make the Red Skull a good villain this time.
I don't think
Baron Zemos was a good villain.
Okay, he was a good villain. He needs a power up though.
Yeah. Right now, he's currently in lockup.
Yeah, he was a good villain. I'll give you that.
But yeah, I don't know. They might just add. They're gonna give Captain America has a lot of villains. They're just gonna keep going down the list, like so.
There's plenty of choices that they got.
Man, at this moment right now, like Marvel has like a little backyard graveyard all the
Yeah,
villains.
but to say, quit killing them so much. It's like, oh my god.
Skull and Bones dead. Ultron dead.
Skull and Bones or Crossbones? You mean Crossbones?
Yeah.
Crossbones was definitely one who I wish they didn't kill off because Crossbones could have some very interesting ties to everything. Because Crossbones is one of the more interesting.
You know the funny thing about it is, if Iron Man 3 never happened, we could get Killmonger back, probably. But
what
do you mean by that?
Mandarin brought back Killmonger.
Oh shit!
You mean?
But that's not the real Mandarin, though. I mean, the real Mandarin's still in the MCU.
No, the Mandarin actually he brought him back.
Yeah, but the Mandarin's still in the MCU technically.
Yeah, the Mandarin is currently in hiding. Remember, the Mandarin that they found was just a dude. He said that there is no Mandarin, but they showed right there after that scene that the Mandarin does exist. He was just using him as a decoy.
Okay. They some slick little bastards.
I almost walked out of the theater after that scene.
About to say we need the fucking Killmonger back. Killmonger's a goat of the MCU as for villains right now.
But this might start a revolution of how to do it. Like they need to. I'm not gonna say every villain needs to have like a reason of doing something, but they need to. If they're gonna go that way. Or if they're gonna go straight evil, they have to. They're going to have to.
They need better intentions.
Yeah, they need better.
So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start the rivalry back up. Here we go.
Okay,
there we go.
I like what was his name? Michael B. Jordan. I like Michael B. Jordan's acting. He's a great actor. However, his portrayal of Killmonger didn't move me. Not because he did anything bad. It didn't move me because he seemed less like Killmonger to me and seemed more like Angry Man off the Martin comedy series.
What?
Marty Boss. I swear to God, I heard sulking like scuff when you were saying that shit. I'm gonna let him go after you.
But why does he feel he doesn't seem like Killmonger?
Super G is raging in the background. I can hear him right now.
This is a more modern Killmonger. If you want to be honest, Killmonger in a comics is trash compared to the Killmonger we got now. Because the only thing the Killmonger in the comics, he just his parents got killed by Claw.
Mm-hmm.
They got banned. Well, first of all, they got banished. Then they got killed by Claw. And he, for some reason, he blamed it on T'Challa and Wakanda. Like that didn't make any sense. He devoted his whole life to getting smarter and getting and increasing his strength to his peak to come back to challenge T'Challa. And that was the end all be all. His story really didn't have anything.
It just didn't see the presentation of him. He seemed angry.
But you gotta realize the man's seen his pops get killed.
No. Killmonger's definitely angry, but angry doesn't necessarily mean badass. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, I didn't get a badass feel from this Killmonger, the way he was written.
What are you talking about? Like when the lady's like, "But sir, these are for the future king." He just grabs her by the throat and he's like, "When I say something, I mean that shit."
I mean that shit.
That shit.
Let me give you an example. I'm gonna go back to Black Panther. What's the guy's name? The villain in Black Panther.
Killmonger, right?
No, I mean I'm sorry, not Black Panther. Black Lightning. What's the
Black Lightning? You mean Tobias Whale?
Tobias. Even though Michael Jordan, what's his name?
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan. The guy that plays Tobias in Black Lightning couldn't eat his lunch. Couldn't tie his shoes. You know what I'm saying? However, the way that they write that character in, Tobias feels like a badass to me, where it just felt like Killmonger didn't have that badass feel to him. He was just angry, and he happened to beat up Black Panther when he was stripped of his powers, and because of that, he technically became the king. You know what I'm saying? I didn't feel any. I'm sorry. That's just. But I wanted to just start up some shit again. So but that's just me.
But to be fair, like look what we did before you fought Black Panther. Like this dude went to that museum. He started that whole thing. Like he killed that woman because she drank that coffee or whatever. Like he planned that shit. And then also on top of that, remember like when he captures the girl, Bloody, like Claw captures that girl. He straight up shoots her without any remorse.
His wifey. he shot her. Like,
I don't know if that was his wife. I think it was his girl.
Still girl.
But
That
it
was,
was just
wasn't wifey. That was a side chick right
like,
there.
don't worry, bitch, we're going together. And then bro.
Yeah, tell him, Cyrus. That was just a side chick.
Yeah,
that wasn't wife.
Yeah, that was a Wednesday side chick. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Still, but he shot her without second hesitation.
she knew what was up. She said, "I'm sorry."
Oh,
She knew
hang
what
on. Before we go on, bro, your boy Fusion Wolf is cutting up, man.
I was about to read it. Go ahead.
With an attitude, prepare yourselves for the eat monger.
Oh God!
Oh
Oh God!
Oh, man.
That's TRS. man.
I guess we are getting the Medea Goes to Wakanda movie after all.
That's why you gotta look at his picture. You can tell he's insane.
Oh, it is, bro.
You guys know what cartoon that thing's from? He had to tell me himself.
Yeah, TRS. Say the cartoon that came from.
It's like an old 90s cartoon from what it looks like.
Yeah, if you guys got any guesses, go ahead.
But like Tobias, he's just angry too.
Yeah.
But
we see the depths of his character over the.
I think you just don't like. I think you just don't like his design.
Yeah, but it's like because Killmonger in this movie, he looks like a kid. Let's be real. Like he looks.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I mean, he's supposed to be from South Oakland, but he talks like he's from New Jersey. I don't know. That just threw me off.
But he is from Jersey. You know, it's hard.
Yeah, he can't change his accent much.
I know. Yeah, so maybe I just wanted to start some shit. That's all. We were getting along.
Fucking Freakazoid, man. I remember that cartoon.
Freakazoid.
But whatchamacallit, even like towards the end, like who are the honor guards called again? Like that
the Dora Milaje.
The Dora Milaje. Look, man, like they turned on them, and he just turned on us too. Like, let's go.
He said, "Yeah, what's up? Like, what's up?"
And he fucking slit one's throat. Like, you know how tough those warriors are.
He smiled while he did it.
Yeah. Boy was on another level. You gotta think, Moss. And here's what I'm gonna shut you down. Is that as So pointed out, the boy was left in Oakland, right? His dad in the beginning, we've established that it's his dad in Jobu who's telling him about Wakanda. It's not T'Chaka to T'Challa. It's Njobu telling it to Eric. It's him telling him the history of Wakanda and what could be established and what it's done. And as we saw when he gets the heart-shaped herb, his ancestors aren't there. The only one that he has there is his dad. Yeah. His dad is the only thing that matters. And remember what his dad said to him. He said, "Son, they're going to look at you as an outsider and say that you're lost." He's like, "But I'm not lost. I'm right here." Maybe they're lost. He knew from the beginning what the world had taken from him, what T'Chaka took from him when he killed his dad. What Wakanda had said to him and to his family is that they're not welcome. That he's not one of them. The world had spit on him and thrown him out. He was angry as of what he lost, what him and his mom suffered through. As he got older, he became a war dog, jumping from war zone to war zone. As he said, he killed his own brothers and sisters on the very continent. He had seen the worst of the worst, and he knew what had to be done. If the world was going to be bad, he was going to clean it up. He was going to do what he had to do. Yeah, he wasn't just the way he was just to be the way. He had seen the darkest of the dark. He had been in the abyss and he had walked out of it and knew that the abyss was the truth. That he had to send everything back to the void and pull it out. He had to burn the world and remake it. If you listen to what he said, his point wasn't just black liberation. He wasn't just saying that he had to free all the oppressed people. Like he said, there's 2 billion people in the world that look just like me, and they live their lives every day in poverty. He said that's not how it should be. We need to give them power back. But if you listen, he said the sun's never going to set on the Wakandan empire. He wasn't just about black liberation. He was about Wakandan imperialization. He was going to do what the Romans and the British and everyone else that came before him couldn't do. He was going to take the world and make it his. When he burned the heart-shaped herbs and destroyed the Garden of Bast, it's because of the fact that he was never going to leave. He wasn't going to leave in there. No one was going to take his empire. That's where it's at. That's what makes him so compelling. The thought is that he and what Wakanda had, they could do so much to help so many others, but they chose not to. So he was going to do it for them. He was going to give the people around the world that all come from his country, all from Africa, all from the motherland. He was going to give them power to rise back up, take back what should have been theirs in the first place, what should have never been taken, which is their identity in the world.
Boy, you better preach. I'm out of here.
But, hey,
See,
oh God.
And that was an all infamous speech. From
That was a good speech.
Take a
I'm just saying, maybe if Killmonger looked more like I don't know, if he looked more Terry Crews and less like Busta Rhymes, I would believe him more.
I don't know, bro. When you see him start taking off his shirt once he got in that fight, when you see all those marks, we said each one of these is for a kill. Every person that I've ended is right here, and you're gonna be the next one. That's what you need. When he's sitting there walking and he's got the necklace on for the Golden Jaguar and he's got that big coat, he's not wearing anything. He's hiding, showing what he's done. Every single one of those markings is for a kill that he took.
He earned that.
He took that.
Everybody that fought with T'Challa are traitors.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. We let Wonder Woman get away with the villain with some skinny white dude with a mustache.
That was kind of lame.
That was underwhelming.
That was like very disappointing.
His ideology and what Killmonger stood for is because he had seen the darkest of the abyss and came out of it and knew what he had to do. He may have been a major departure from the comics, but it was one of the best revisions because it was very modernized. It made sense in the world that we live in today, and it made sense for his character to have that hatred, to have that drive to want to take Wakanda.
He knew that's what Wakanda needed at that time. Exactly. That was the only way it would have changed. That was the only way.
Exactly.
Yeah, he was so cold. Remember when the priest stopped and he's like, "Look, he's not the reason why your father died." Oh damn! I hear some cops. But anyways, he said,
what's going on, man?
They're coming to get y'all for abusing me.
That's the sound.
They coming for me because I just laid down the preach.
That's right. They coming for all y'all asses because y'all abusing me.
They coming to help this dude out, man. No, on some real stuff. I just like dropped my daughter off, dude, and I just wanted to stop by and say what's up to everybody, say what's up to the panel, say what's up to Monster. I feel sorry for this guy because I know he's getting slayed. Crazy shit, real story. We'll talk. I just like hit this corner, bro, and I was in the middle of a high-speed chase. That's what you guys like literally freaking just
we heard that.
No joke.
No joke. You robbed the store. We heard that, man.
Oh man,
Wakanda forever.
Exactly.
Hey, that's what it is, dog. I was out doing that work. I was in the other people's area, and I was saying Wakanda Fair. They started trying to get me, bro. But
get them.
Bro, it's like Burnout Paradise over there, bro.
I'm gonna tell you,
I'm gonna hang with you guys for a little bit, but I'm gonna be quiet for the most part.
Yeah, they cut me over both eyes, and Bloody Knuckles just had to.
Let's be real, bro. We pulled out T'Challa on you where we like did a barrel roll and stabbed you.
Yeah,
you're just sitting there accepting the defeat right now.
I say they took your eyes, but I showed you the meaning of my name. I gave you them bloody.
Yeah,
we gonna let you see the beautiful sunset.
Yeah.
Just drop me in the water with the toilet chuck.
No, Master, you are wrong.
No, definitely a good discussion. You know what I'm saying? I just, I had I'll put it like this. I had expectations. Now we're talking after my eyes are swollen and I'm trying to find my teeth. I what was that Larry Herb or who interviews everybody after each boxing match? I came
Larry Merchant.
I'm gonna just say this, Larry. I came to Black Panther looking for badass action. I understand there was a story. I understand they had Maurice Crump and they were playing with my emotions. But I feel where these people, I feel where the panel was coming from, and I want to say this: that by Black Panther 2, okay, we got the origin out of the way. I don't want to hear no excuses. We better see some goddamn action.
It has to be pull up.
Yeah,
movie.
Yeah, with the second one, they're gonna have to step it up.
Yeah,
this one laid the foundations because it wasn't just.
Wait to the second one. Then if they don't show up, well, I know they're gonna show up.
Yeah,
and if they don't, I would now strip the strength of the Black Panther away. That's gonna be like that either.
Oh, Zuri.
We're gonna act like we never seen it. We just gonna we're not gonna count this one.
Yeah,
man, that movie's gonna be right, bro.
We know it's gonna be right, but we just say
that'll be a truth we choose to admit.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they got all the parts there. Maurice Crump is a bad blah 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 blah. Like you with him there, that action should be badass. And where the actors will fall short because, of course, you can't train over a year or two to be a martial artist. You got Black Panther in suits utilize that shit instead of that CG bullshit. You know what I mean?
That's actually a pretty good idea, though.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I was also thinking that too. I was like, it's not hard to find somebody the same body type, the same height that knows like a lot of martial arts. And they could have used that instead of spending more money on CG.
Yep.
But it's like that's
I don't know. I think they
real
wanted
problem
a
with
face-to-face discussion there, and
that's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
They also wanted to understand, like,
I don't. You know what? I honestly think like they go the CG route too. I mean, to help out with their like visual effects, they try to, because like, you know, when they do those movies like in IMAX and 3D, those kind of like effects kind of like seem to pop more.
Yeah,
they pop.
But
Yeah.
it makes it look weird. Like there's even a scene where Killmonger is fighting the Dora Milaje. Yeah, Dora Milaje, and it looks like it's CG. You're like, why is it looking like CG and they're just fighting? They're just going.
Well, that's
like
it's going to his suit.
Yeah, the part of that is because of the Golden Jaguar suit. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think they wanted to show off like the suit because of how it's going to relate to Iron Man with the bleeding edge armor. You have to remember that's coming up in Infinity War.
Yep, it's going to be something. We're definitely going to see a lot because we've already seen them show off what Tony built for the Iron Spider. Now we're going to see the bleeding edge for Iron Man. We're going to see a lot of different things.
I said the only thing I would have preferred, like being CG, was just the Rhino scene. I was like, cool, but then it went to the train scene.
Yeah,
I mean,
but it is what it is.
With CG, you damn if you do, you damn if you don't, though. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because a lot of people don't know how to balance it, and then it's like CG's literally become the norm in Hollywood, bro. Like even when they don't need it, they use it, bro. So it's just one of those things where it's like, damn, we appreciate the old times, but then we look at the old times like, fuck, this could have used some CG, you know?
Yeah,
but like,
because you got to think about too, if they do a lot of, you got to think about, especially for us coming out of, you know, our love of martial arts movies, when they do a lot of those scenes, you know, that goes into a lot of danger. Look at Mike, Jackie Chan alone, with every movie he's done up until the 90s, even in the early thousands, that was all him with no stunt doubles. Suits. That was all him. Like if you saw,
he barely wore wires.
Yeah,
cheap suits.
I can't remember which movie it was, but when he jumped off the wall of one of those temples and grabbed onto the bamboo, and that bamboo broke, that actually happened. He fell.
That was I think that was Rumble in the Bronx.
Was it Rumble in the Bronx? Well, no, that's when he jumped on. That's when they jumped on the hovercraft and he broke his ankle. But there was another one, and it was one of the early ones, and I think it may have been. It wasn't from Legend of the Drunken Master, but there was one movie where he was on a wall outside of a Chinese temple, and he jumped into the bamboo and grabbed onto the tree, and the tree broke as he grabbed it, and he fell like 17 feet and hurt himself. There's also seen in Rumble in the Bronx when he was falling through like the they're like things that hang over to catch the rain and shit.
The little tarp.
The tarp.
Yeah, he fell like through like 3 of those shits, and the last one, like he fell on his neck.
Yeah, hey, there's a lot of danger that comes to doing it with full without CG or a lot of that stuff.
A lot of those scenes they didn't need CG. Like it wasn't even dangerous, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that even with trained martial artists, a lot of that comes down to, you know, it still does have its dangers, no if they want to be authentic or not. Because we saw that in Unbok, because the fighter in Unbok, I can't remember the name, but I remember in the first movie there was a scene where he was in
Tony Jaa.
Yeah, Tony Jaa. There was a scene where he was in that he was in a was it like a pick apart for automobiles? I can't think of the.
Where he was like jumping through the between the glass and shit like that.
It was that one, but it was where the part where he was on fire fighting those dudes in the middle of it, and he had to jump in the water to put himself out. If you saw the behind the scenes, he repeatedly was covering his clothes and the stuff to kind of to keep the fire off, but they were repeatedly lighting him on fire, doing those scenes, and then quickly dousing him off.
Yeah, that is fucking insane.
Yeah, he was lighting himself on fire for those scenes for authenticity. But you got to think about the dangers that come into those. Even for something like this, as much as we want it to be authentic with the fights, there are dangers with what they do.
Absolutely. And it's also time constraints. Because remember, Black Panther was done pretty quick, actually.
Yeah.
But with all this said, great discussion today, guys. But Monty Moss, we brought you up here. We're letting you look at the sunset. Do you have any final remarks?
Do you want to take a blade out of your chest, or you gonna leave it in?
No, he wants to get thrown.
We can still save you, Monty Moss.
I will say that. Like I was telling Larry Merchant not too long ago, even though my eyes are puffed up and I can't see where the hell I'm at right now, I'm gonna walk out of here with some of my teeth. Look, now here's the deal. Just to recap for those that tuned in late, and if you tuned in late, definitely start this from the beginning. Excellent podcast. The three things that kind of like rubbed me the wrong way was from the whole political aspect. The people ignorance about what you're supporting when you show some financial support or whatever support for this movie, and how you could truly support Africa. You know what I'm saying? As someone with African relatives, you know what I'm saying, and an African father, and that, I'm gonna let you know that they're not looking at you buying tickets and putting on cat helmets as support. There's different things you can do, but that's for the ignorant. That's not for the people on this panel. As far as the discussion that we had on this panel, I would have liked to see the talents of Maurice Crump utilized even more. And I would have liked to see a more expansive story that would have related to action. Hey, look, I'm sorry. I'm a superficial guy. I want to see people get kicked, punched, and stabbed. That's it. I'm sorry. So I get it was PG-13, but, maybe in Black Panther 2, it'll still be PG-13, but they'll utilize Maurice Crump a little bit more.
We already tackled this. We just gotta throw him in the water. We gotta throw him in the water.
If I was younger, I'd kick your ass.
He's a
Monty Moss saying that.
That's for you, because that's what Larry Merchant told Floyd when he was cutting up, dog. He said, if I was younger, I'd kick your ass. That wouldn't happen, but that's for you, bro.
Yeah, with Monty Moss saying that, he essentially took the blade and he wants to go down with the toilet chunks.
Yep. They said toilet swirls.
Toilet swirls.
Toilet swirls. I upgraded it to toilet swirls. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, great discussion, guys. We need to do this more often. Every time we find someone who may not like a Marvel movie or whatever, let's just have a little debate. Let's just have a little talk about it.
Any movie that we all watched.
Any movie that we all think was great. Like, this would have been great for Justice League, maybe, but unfortunately,
this would have been crazy for Justice League.
Yeah, it was definitely something interesting, and you did great holding your own out here, brother. You did what you could, but we had to give you that. Got to give you them hands. They went for your eyes, but I gave you everything, man. I showed you what my namesake is.
Look, man, he held on like Killmonger. He even hit us with some points.
Oh, yeah, he definitely came out swinging.
Thank you for being a good sport, though, dude.
Oh, no,
definitely. I wasn't there butchering. I didn't see you carry the cross, all the way up Hill of Galilee, but bro, like, good sport, man. And
absolutely.
Come back anytime you feel like you don't like what we like.
Anytime you want to get an ass, come on out.
But no,
you was fighting a losing battle from the start, though, bro. You know that.
He held his own. I'm not going to deny it.
Hey, we tried to find you help. We tried to find you help, but ain't nobody was signing up for this ass whooping, bro. So
yeah. They like what? He hate Black Panther now.
What? Yeah.
Look, even your boys from the Triple B was on your head.
Yeah, you're lucky his power went out. He wanted to get on you for this.
But you know what? I was ready for Mass because he thought he was like, I got all the comic books. You know how Mass is. I'm like, okay. Once I would have hit him with the political angle, I think that would have.
Here's the thing, Monty Moss. It's fucking Mass. This dude can argue about anything. Oh, yeah. That's his talent.
He's the X-Bot version of Porter Rock.
Did you see what he did with the Black Baron on multiplayer? Oh, my gosh.
No, you know what? I got to finish that episode.
He killed Baron, bro. He killed that man in front of everybody.
I got to finish that episode. Yep.
Yeah. Well, everyone out there in the chat, thank y'all for joining us. Of course, like I said, give some love to Mighty Moss here. Definitely check out his channel, Mighty Moss 2K.
Mighty Moss 2K. And you have your own show. It's called the Scram Punks. Want to tell us about that?
Scram Punks is I'm an old geezer. That's why I'm shaking my fist at everything, and including Black Panther, and having you youngins come and tear up my yard and TP my trees and shit. But it's an old school gamers aspect of gaming in the gaming culture right now. I have two co-hosts. I have TRS that's in the chat saying
he's calling for backup. He says he's gonna get his very own warrior women to come help you.
Yeah, exactly. And he's talking about an overweight sister with an attitude is going to be the next villain.
Eat monger.
Eat monger. That's the shit I got to deal with on Scram Punks. But come check it out. We do it Wednesdays around 9:30. I got Killer Hill when he wants to show up and not be creepy in the background and shit. You know, and it's an open panel. Anybody here that wants to come on, man, we're just having great discussions. That's all.
Yeah, we had a great discussion last night. I didn't show up. I saw the Operation and Bloody Gear showed up.
Oh, great. The discussion really needed to happen, especially about Phil Spencer's keynote.
Absolutely.
It's something that's
Yeah, you know what Scram Punks is all about.
I gotta watch that video.
Yeah. It's on Mighty Moss's channel. You know, subscribe to his channel. It's growing. It's pretty good.
Yeah, if you want to see me go in and bust out some more knowledge bombs, definitely. Hey, look, the man, Mr. Akima, was even talking about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Mr. Akima, yep. He was up in here in this chat, too. And big ups to everybody in the chat that supported this. If you could do a huge favor for I'm gonna say my favorite podcast, Smash Podcast. Do me a favor, retweet this shit out, all right? You know, show your. I was yelling at y'all about showing support for Africa, but right now I need y'all to show support for Smash Podcast. Now, don't just sit up in here and type shit in the chat. Retweet this shit out, okay? Because it's a great podcast.
Let them know.
Let them know. But from everyone here at the Smash, we'll catch you all later, people, and check it out.
Peace.
Peace.
Sleep.